So the given problem is absolute of root 3 minus root of absolute of 2 minus root 5. This expression, this we have to express it without these absolute functions. Without these we have to express it. That is a question. So when you observe, you can see that there are two absolute functions which are used here. Two absolute functions are there. One is this, there is an innermost one, that is absolute of 2 minus root 5. This is the first one. And then there is a second one, that is the outermost one. This is the second one. This is the second one. So first we'll start with the innermost one. Which is the innermost one? The innermost one is absolute of 2 minus root 5. Now we know the basic definition of absolute of x. Absolute of a particular number x will be x if x is positive. This is if x is a positive number, then it is equal to the input. Whereas this is equal to minus of x when x is a negative number. Now here the fundamental question is, we have to know whether this number 2 minus root 5 is positive or negative. Is it a positive number or is it a negative number? Okay. Now when you subtract root 5 from 2, if 2 is bigger, then 2 minus root 5 is going to be a positive number. So let's say which is bigger. So we have to know, is 2 greater than root 5? Is 2 greater than root 5? Let's see. You square on both sides, then 2 square greater than 5. Is 2 square greater than 5? 2 square is 4. 4 greater than 5. No, this is wrong. When this is wrong, this statement, previous statement is wrong. That means this statement is wrong, which implies 2 is less than root 5. When 2 is less than root 5, 2 minus root 5 is going to be less than 0. That is, this 2 minus root 5, this number is negative. 2 minus root 5 is negative. Now, when 2 minus root 5 is negative, we have to use this definition, the second part of absolute function we have used. Then this becomes minus of x. Now here x is 2 minus root 5, so minus x becomes minus x is 2 minus root 5. Which, when you open the bracket, this negative one is for both these numbers. So when you open the bracket, it will become minus 2 plus root 5. Now this value you have to substitute here back. So this from here, absolute of root 3 minus square root of minus 2 plus root 5. Now one absolute function we have removed. This is what we have got. Now this can be written as, this is equal to absolute of square root 3 minus square root of root 5 minus 2. Just change the order of numbers, nothing else. Now we have to see which is bigger here. Is square root 3 is bigger or root 5 minus 2 is bigger? That's what we have to see now here. Okay. Now let's assume that square root 3 is, this number is bigger than this. Let's assume that square root 3 is greater than square root of root 5 minus 2. We are making an assumption because we don't know the values of root 3 and root 5. We don't know it. So this is an assumption. Now let's say that this assumption is true. Let's start by saying that this assumption is true. This is an assumption. Now if this is true, then on squaring both sides you get 3 greater than root 5 minus 2. Now you bring this 2 to this side, or add 2 on both sides, you get 3 plus 2 greater than root 5. You have brought this minus 2 to this side. Simply by adding plus 2 on both sides. You have added 2 here and you have added 2 here. When you add 2, this and this get cancelled, remaining root 5. When you add this and this gets added, you get 5. So 5 greater than root 5. That means on again squaring, you get 25 greater than 5, which is true. Which means that this statement is true, this statement is true, this statement is true, the initial statement is true. That means root 3 is bigger. If root 3 is bigger, if this number is bigger than this, when you subtract, you are going to get a positive number. That means this absolute function value, when the input is a positive number, will be the same number itself. So now you can remove this absolute function, then you get root 3 minus square root of root 5 minus 2. This is the answer.